Picture this, it's 2016 and mall brand Jamba Juice is struggling. Stores are closing due to weak sales and total revenue is down 50% from the year prior. But just when it seemed like all was lost, something shifted. A strategy started taking shape behind the scenes, one that would change everything. In just a few years, a few mall brands would see an explosive comeback. That comeback didn't make sense to me at first, so I combed through revenue reports and interviews, talked to an advertising professor about the validity of an innovative strategy, and read a whole lot about Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's. Along the way, I uncovered details from 2020 that proved something big was happening. Details that point to one mastermind who might be the reason why some brands are absolutely thriving outside of malls. All right, first off, let's set the record straight. These are mall brands, the kind of stores you'd usually find in shopping malls. Think of names like Claire's or Sam Goody. But these stores did not end up there by chance. It was a match made in retail heaven from the beginning, based on a calculated strategy. See, in 1952, famed architect Victor Gruen was commissioned to design what would become the first modern, fully indoor shopping mall in Minneapolis, completed in 1956. He had a vision to create a space that brought people together, breaking up the shopping experience with things like fountains and art displays between the stores. Gruen envisioned modern shopping centers as community hubs, like the ancient Greek agora or medieval marketplaces, blending social life, recreation, and commerce. However, Gruen's vision was ultimately compromised by the real estate industry. Developers saw a massive opportunity to boost property values and instead prioritized retail and profit over Gruen's intended civic function. What was meant to counter suburban sprawl ended up driving it. Thus, the psychological phenomenon known as the Gruen effect was born. The theory is simple. As a Southwest Plaza manager once said, "We put one shoe store here and another way over there, hoping you pass 35 other stores and spend money along the way." The effect effectively turns destination shoppers into impulse shoppers, feeding mass consumerism. This, of course, was one of the many things that Gruen would eventually hate about malls, telling the Winnipeg Free Press that he refuses to pay alimony for these bastard developments, though that's another story for another time. This strategy, however, relies on one key factor: a variety of stores to tend to. So, malls would use popular brands to draw in the crowds, and businesses would get guaranteed foot traffic, along with services like security, parking, and marketing. If you take anything, let me move this out the way so you know I'm serious. If you take anything away from this part of the video, it should be this. Mall stores were designed to thrive specifically within the mall ecosystem. They were like snails, protected by the mall's shell. No, not that one, the cute animated one. There we go. But without the support of that shell, as mall numbers declined, the symbiotic bond between stores and malls unraveled. With the rise of e-commerce and changing consumer preferences, businesses that once thrived in malls began to suffer. Discovery Channel Store, Sharper Image, and Wet Seal all closed up shop. Even anchor tenants like department stores felt the impact. While malls were definitely on the decline, some brands' revenue were shifting in ways that didn't match the trend. Let me explain. Look at these numbers. In 2015, Jamba Juice was struggling. But by 2023, it rebounded with $513 million in sales. Then there's Auntie Anne's, which saw a leap from $559 million in 2017 to a massive $762 million by 2023. Cinnabon, back in 2019, its sales were at $353 million. But by 2023, it jumped to $497 million. Together, these brands reached close to $1.8 billion in revenue, all while malls were in decline and other mall brands were disappearing. But that's not even the most surprising part. Before the big reveal, keep this in mind. One of the keys to a business's survival is reach. And yes, this is an ad, but it's also a clue as to why some mall brands thrive, so pay attention. If you're looking to grow your online presence beyond just one platform, check out our guide on expanding your brand across channels. Start simple. List platforms, check audience fit, brand fit, and potential reach, then pick what fits best. Click the link in the description below to get started. Besides the revenue boost, all these brands succeeding have something else in common. They're all owned by the same company. That company, Go-To Foods, formerly Focus Brands, is driving a new strategy that's paying off. After acquiring these brands and welcoming a new CEO in 2020, the company realized something critical. Just because malls were dying didn't mean there wasn't demand. Rather than fading alongside the malls, Go-To Foods chose to take a few bold risks. The first of which happened when
I spent a good 30 days analyzing the balance sheet, and I saw this line item called licensing. You can take your products and you extend them, right, outside of the bricks and mortar stores. So today, we have like 164 different products. Most of them are Cinnabons. At the end of the day, yes, it's more revenue for the company, but it's also a brand building and a marketing tool that nobody else has in our industry.
In other words, licensing not only brought in more money, but also became a new way to make the brand popular. From that moment, everything shifted. Cinnabon wasn't just in malls anymore. It launched a rewards app, brand partnerships, and introduced over 19 consumer products you could find online or at your local grocery store. Building on that momentum, Jamba Juice moved into standalone locations, including modular, grab-and-go drive-thrus. Then came the most pivotal move of all. In 2021, the company opened its first ever Auntie Anne's drive-thru in Wiley, Texas.
Why am I just now finding out that Auntie Anne's drive-thrus exist?
But something made this location truly groundbreaking. It was paired with the Jamba Juice. This was the start of a new strategy, co-branding.
A lot of the more successful co-branding partnerships that we have seen have come out of the food industry. It's just natural, right? The products that they're offering together, they do fulfill that consumer need, right? What do you need if you get a delicious, buttery, salty pretzel, right? I mean, you need something to wash it down. So teaming up with Jamba Juice makes a lot of sense.
This consumer-focused approach unlocked a major advantage, especially when co-branded within a larger portfolio of brands.
The advantage of portfolio brands like Focus is that we can bring a lot more advantage, right, to each of our brands. None of these brands in this portfolio can afford those things, right? If they were trying to operate as a standalone business, they just don't have the scale. But then when you're a part of something bigger like this, where we're building systems one time and then scaling them across 7 different brands, all of a sudden this starts to unlock all kinds of really great value for your franchisees.
Value aside, these mall favorites may have found new life outside the mall, but can you guess the one thing they still desperately need to succeed? That's right, foot traffic. To meet that need, Go-To Foods has strategically secured prime locations, prioritizing high traffic areas for every dual and even triple branded location it opens. For example, its first dual drive-through location was near a high school, surrounded by other restaurants, and right down the street from a hospital, perfectly situated to capture steady foot and vehicle traffic. In essence, Go-To Foods is kind of creating its own mini Gruen effect. The street is the mall, and these brand mashups provide a variety of stores to tempt you, hopefully leading to impulse buys that support both brands, just like in the good old mall days. Today, Go-To Foods has launched 175 plus of these dual branded locations. According to Brian Krause, Chief Development Officer at Go-To Foods, street-side venues have major growth potential, and dual branding is a great way to increase revenue. I can't say he's wrong. In 2023, the company hit a historic $5.7 billion in retail sales, opened hundreds of stores, and welcomed millions of new loyalty members. It also secured over 1,000 franchise deals. Those franchisees have reaped the benefits and joined the co-branding movement.
We'll build a common back room, but in front, you can order one or the other. Carvel is soft serve ice cream, and it was basically, we were co-branding them with Auntie Anne. It was a great incremental sales force.
With this strategy paying off, it's clear that brands, especially ones that you associate with butter and sugar, can exist without malls. But not all have been lucky enough to jump ship. Some have gone down with it. Remember Wet Seal from earlier? Their refusal to adapt to the rise of online shopping and changing teen trends, along with fewer mall visits and competition from brands like Forever 21 and H&M, ultimately led to the complete end of their brick and mortar locations. The story of these mall brands shows us that change is constant, and those who embrace it survive. Whether inside or outside malls, the ability to innovate and understand consumer needs means the difference between fading away and thriving. Speaking of adapting to change, Southwest Airlines offers another great example of what happens when a beloved brand faces the challenges of outdated systems. Watch my full story on the channel. If you're inspired by how brands pivot and thrive, remember to check out our guide on channel expansion. It's all about reaching your audience wherever they are. As always, if you like this story and want to learn more, subscribe to the Hustle YouTube channel for the latest business news.